listening to The Morning Show with Dave Hyde on 99.2 Hermitage FM, online and on your smart speaker.
And I'm joined by Sabrina Francis, all the way from Grenada. Sabrina, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me. I'm having a beautiful day here in Grenada, as many days. How are you?
Don't rub it in. The weather's no good here in the UK ever. And if do you know what? In the UK, if it's hot, we moan that it's hot as well.
No, I've had some good days in the UK. I've had some pretty good sunny days. Funny enough, every time I'm there, at least a couple of days is sunny and blue skies.
Well, when you come back over, will you bring some more of that great Grenada weather?
I will try my very best.
We've had nothing but rain for over a week. Wind, rain, freezing cold weather. Not good.
Sorry about it.
Well, you're here to talk to me about your new single, Cocoa Tea.
Yes. I'm releasing a new single, Cocoa Tea, on April 22nd. It'll be out on all platforms, and it's really just like an introduction to myself, Sabrina Francis. It tells a story of a memory that I have of my childhood, and not necessarily of my child, but just a moment in time that I remember. I put it into song because I feel like it's the essence of it gives a full picture of kind of who I am and where I come from.
Now, you have that coming out on the 22nd of April?
Yes.
Which is my birthday.
Really?
It is.
I did not know that. This is not planned.
Is that when you're dropping the video as well?
I think I might drop the video before that. I don't have a specific date yet, but pretty soon, probably like in the next week or two. And then the audio will be out on all platforms on April 22nd.
Now, I've been specially given a gift, really. I've been able to see the video.
And
I think it's brilliant. Was it fun recording it? Because there's obviously snippets up on Facebook and on your social media.
Yeah, I recorded it in the UK, actually, in a studio, a couple studios, and it was fun, the experience, because you walk on set and there's like 15 people. There's a thing of wardrobe and makeup, so that is definitely fun. But I had to record all of that. You see me in the little skimpy summer dresses. It was all like below zero.
Oh no!
I had to smile and pretend like I'm in the sunlight, and it's so pleasant. So that was very, very intense, and it really tested my acting chops, which I have none of. I'm not a great actor, so I'm happy that you couldn't tell. Could you tell?
No, you look like, I've got to be honest, it looked like you were nice and warm in Grenada recording something. I've got to be honest.
That was the hope. But yeah, it was really intense.
Also, within that chorus, it looks like when you have some dancers, you have a dance routine going on there.
Yeah, the dancers had a dance routine. And then when I got on set, they were kind of like, oh, well, hop in. And so I tried to learn it really quickly and did my little two-step, So yeah, that was cool.
So I think what we got to do is there's got to be a social media campaign somewhere with everybody trying to mimic that dance routine at the chorus.
Do you think you could do it? Are you going to join in on the challenge?
I reckon we can get this in on TikTok. I think we can.
Let's go. I'm ready.
We'll wait for you to drop that video, and I'll tell you what, I'll do it just for you. Not that I can dance, I've got to be honest.
I can't really dance either. We're in the same boat here. It's about having fun.
So as long as you're smiling, which actually, when you wrote a song called Cocoa Tea, you said it's about a memory. What sort of memories was it wrote about?
Well, cocoa tea is really like a Grenadian drink. The way that you have hot chocolate, we have cocoa tea, which is like a much more complicated way to make hot chocolate. And we enjoy that here in Grenada as a breakfast beverage or a tea time at night. And I remember when I was younger, we lived in like a small wooden house in the countryside. And every night my mom would be inside making cocoa tea for us to have dinner. And my sisters and I would be outside on the stones telling stories and kind of waiting until mom called us inside to have cocoa tea. And I thought it was just a fun, chill way just to, remember that, reminisce on that. And I think that's what music is about.
Well, your lyrics do tell a really good story of it all the way through that. You can tell there's good memories there.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've moved now, I take it, and obviously you've been touring in Europe and the UK.
Yeah, well, I haven't moved. I'm in Grenada because I have like my treehouse concerts here. I still have music that I do here, but I'm definitely more going to the UK and back because I think in a couple weeks I'll be back in the UK to shoot another video. So I'm trying to find the balance between home, my base Grenada, and the UK, and getting that right. But I'm definitely in the UK quite a bit.
Because you got a video as well of you making cocoa tea. I've got to be honest. I watched that today as well.
Whoa, you did some research, man. Yes, I do. I I did it. I don't know if my mom would be proud. I don't know how well. Yeah, it was good.
I have 3 pages. When you sort of travel, do you tend to do things that you do at home when you're on tour as well? Is there anything that you take with you, or you do the same when you're away as you are at home?
Well, when I'm on, my life is really, it's been consumed with just music for the past, I don't know how many years. So when I leave, we tend to take, the last time we went on tour, we was in November of last year, 2021. And I went with my treehouse band. And so we carried things like bush. We make a lot of tea with that, like literal leaves that we use to make tea. This is one thing I travel with that I think, I don't know if it actually helps my voice. I like to believe that it does, but it's
a home comfort.
With me. Exactly. That's one thing I could think of that I take with me on tour, but I'm really always just consumed with the happenings on the road, you know? So I'm never really, I'm distracted enough not to be homesick when I'm on tour.
You know which is always nice.
Yeah. There's always enough to worry about. So I don't have time to be like, oh, I miss home.
What's rehearsals like for you? Because obviously I've seen the photos from the treehouse and stuff like that and some of the videos you've done there. What's it like to go from that stage to sort of, say, a bigger stage or a different audience? What is there a change in style in which you prepare for?
Preparing for a big stage is just like trying to, okay, my ideal stage is like an intimate space with 20, 40 people. And then I could really like relax and talk directly to the audience and really feel like I'm just in a room with my friends. But it's obviously a different setting when you're on a bigger stage. So you have to figure out different ways probably to connect with the audience and little things like that you have to think about. But generally in Grenada, we are like a tourist destination. And so I have equal parts of locals attending my shows versus people from the UK or from the US. So I feel like I generally have an idea what they're looking for when I go to the UK to perform. And so the things I do here to entertain my audience, I tend to kind of copy paste over there, and it works really nicely. I add other things as well, but I want to be my authentic self on stage.
No, totally get it. And the nicest thing is your music travels really, really well, doesn't it? Because it is all the Afro-Caribbean mixed with a bit of dance music to the beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're never sure if it translates really well. What works in Grenada or in the US or even Africa might not necessarily work in the UK, but I have a message, I suppose. It's about positivity, love, feeling good. And I think that hopefully translates when they listen to my music. It might not be Adele or, you know, whatever we listen to typically, but hopefully they get the picture.
Well, you're on your second album. Your second album's been released. I believe you've got more coming later on this year as well.
I have an EP that I'm working on. I have a couple singles that I released as well. So yeah, I'm not sure what the release would be for the EP, but my second album actually released a couple years ago, and it was the worst time ever to release an album. It dropped right before COVID, right before we went on the lockdown. But it was really one of my most inspired projects, because I took an inspirational trip to South Africa to work on a lot of the songs with some singers and musicians. And that's when I started feeling like, okay, I really want to blend that African thing that awoken in me with my Caribbean roots, with the pop music that's everywhere that I also listen to a lot. So that album, I still listen to this day. It's really, it woke up something in me. It touched something in me.
And ironically, it's called I Feel, so there must be strong emotions to it.
Yes, really, really. If you get a chance, give it a listen. It's everywhere on all the platforms, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. So take a listen.
And we'll give you the other one a plug. It's Thinking Colour. So I'm liking how you sort of naming these. It must be how you're feeling or how you're thinking at that time when you're coming up with these titles.
Yeah. Thinking Colour was my first album. It's really like the first thing I ever did. First time I ever went into a studio to say I'm recording Sabrina Francis music. When I was younger, I used to do back vocals for like soca artists. Soca is like the main music in Grenada. It's really high energy stuff, fun. But my music is a little more toned down.
Bit laid back.
It's in the feeling. My music is more, in the feeling. So Yeah.
So, what are your plans for writing for the next 12 months? Are you thinking? Obviously, you've got the EP, then obviously possibly a new album. Are you
Yeah.
thinking of styles? Are you thinking about changing anything up? Or are you going different directions?
I love to experiment with different styles, and I've been on a mission just to write, and it doesn't matter with who. There was a time when I would wait on inspiration to write songs. And
Hmm.
a while ago, I learned that that's not the most productive way. If you want to be making music and have this as a career, you need to be able to write at least a few times a week, or get in sessions where you could write. So recently, just last week, I had a guitarist from the UK. His name is Kian Cardenas. He came and spent 2 weeks with me, and we wrote songs together the whole time. And that feel for those songs is really like, there's a jazzy aspect. It's more complex, a more complex sound. And then, so I would have to take what we did there and add the Afro to it, just because I still want to sound like myself. And in a few weeks, probably in June, I'm going to go to Miami to have another writing session, probably 10 days with a producer there. So there's things happening, David. We're doing things. We're working.
Lots of stuff going on.
Yes.
When you start writing, do you find that you disappear into your own head? No one can talk to you, sort of thing. This is ultra focused.
Writing is such an intimate thing for me. It's a very intimate process. So even getting into a writing session with other writers or other producers is completely new to me. And it's something that I have to adjust, because usually when I'm writing by myself, I would sit and go into my head and turn things over, try to write. But when you're writing with somebody, you kind of have to open up. And it's completely like I have to reorient myself. It's really interesting, but fun. And I'm learning a lot. And I'm going to have so much new music in the next year, or half a year, or 2 years. So I have so much music. Crazy.
The thing is with Cocoa Tea, it's one of those songs that gets stuck in your head, and you just say you can tell you must have enjoyed writing it. There must have been smiles. As you said, you did the filming. There's smiles there. It's colourful. That dance
Cocoa
routine.
Tea. It's a fun. This one, like, there are songs that I write that's really deep and heavy and emotive, but Cocoa Tea is just light, fun, have a good time. I think people need that now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And what was it like to release your album just before COVID, and then to sort of release this after COVID? Do you feel completely different? Is there a different mindset in that as well?
Well, before COVID, my team and I, it's a very small team, but we always like to stay active. So releasing it before we had the album launch, it was great. People turned out. It was selling. People did things. I mean, selling by Grenadian standards. And when COVID hit, we really did not want to stop creating, stop trying, because a lot of people just stopped. And we didn't do that. We actually got permission from our government in Grenada to have some fundraising concert. We raised some money we called it Let's Keep Green's Music Alive. So we raised some money for the artists that were here during that time. Then we did my treehouse concerts. I'm actually in my treehouse right now. And this is like the intimate stage I was telling you about. It's up in the mountains of Grenada. We invite some people. It's like a VIP concert. They sit with headphones on, and then I play some music with the band for an hour. And that was really something that was birthed during COVID. And after COVID, it's really trying to find and communicate the sound that I've been working on during that time, and try to reach across the waters to a bigger audience. Hence, we're here in the UK doing it. So, and it's just been constant work. And I like that. I like to be active, and I like to know that before COVID, we were working, and now we are still here. And I'm not sure that COVID changed the direction of anything, but it definitely made me want to push harder.
So I mean, you want to really work that little bit harder to get to where you want to go.
Yeah,
and I suppose that's what gets in that sort of link to your writing as well, doesn't it? Because that means that you're going to write more, you're going to feel more, you're going to want to do more.
Yes, exactly. Because I mean, during COVID, it was a very discouraging time, and you just kind of felt like blah, and you wanted to stop. But I feel like the fact that we didn't allow ourselves to stop, it lit a fire in us, and the fire hasn't burnt out yet for 2022. So here we go.
So going forward for 2022, 2023, if you go back on stage with all the new music and mix some of the older stuff in there, are you planning on doing any changes to any songs that you've possibly done in the past to make it available to bigger audiences?
No, I'm always down for the idea of doing remixes. If I feel like there's a song that people are gravitating towards, I am completely open to doing things for fun and creativity. I haven't gone back to say, okay, this song, because I'm a person that I want to just get moving, do new things, go forward. I'm not the person who tends to look back and try and redo what's been done, but I'm open to it if I feel like, people want it.
And before you go on stage, even if it's at the treehouse or elsewhere, do you ever get nervous? Is there anything you do before you go on stage that you have to do?
I'm constantly nervous before I go on stage. I suffer with like a lot of anxiety, and being on stage and singing your songs and it's kind of like you're just standing there and letting people judge you, and that's my job. And it's fulfilling, but also I need a lot to get there to where I'm comfortable. So sometimes before we go on stage, my band and I, we say like a little prayer, just so we're all in the same space. We hold hands and we say a prayer. And on the day that I have a show, I usually tend to not go outside. I close my doors, close the windows, and try to have as little contact with the outside as possible.
Do you think that's
getting in the space?
Just want the zoning out. Yes. Do you think that's linked because you open up so much on stage as well, that because that time beforehand is your time?
You get it. You definitely get it, because being on stage and performing and sharing these parts and these intimate parts of you with a lot of the time strangers, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of emotional energy, and I think it's good to have it. Because if I'm running about, if I get on stage tired, I won't do it. I know I won't do a good show. So during the day, I kind of do self-care, just feel good, feel energetic, feel happy, most importantly. And then I go on stage and I feel like I could put on a great show.
So a question I always like to ask singers is, what is your worst vocal warm-up you do not like doing?
I don't like doing vocal warm-ups, period. Just last year when I had to go on tour, we noticed that it really would be beneficial. So I started doing some vocal training with for the first time with a singer in Trinidad. She has like an academy and she taught me some really great stuff. But I mean, vocal, it feels so silly. It feels so silly.
The things you have to do with that's it, yeah. The things you have to do with noises and lips and make it hurt in your nose.
Yes. But it's very important. I don't do it as much as I should. I completely admit that. But it is important and I try. But it's not fun.
No, it's never fun. I think I can tell you now, every singer in which I've ever spoke to goes, my band do not have to do the vocal warm-ups, and that's one good thing. And then they talk about it and the band's like, really? That bad?
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not fun.
No, you wouldn't be the only one out there. And obviously we've got Cocoa Tea. We've got more stuff coming on the EP. It's available absolutely everywhere. You're going to be dropping the video on social media later on this month, as you said.
Yes.
Where can we find you on social media?
Everywhere. I'm Sabrina Francis Music on Facebook, Sabrina Francis Music on Instagram, and Sabrina Francis on YouTube. Also on Twitter, Sabrina Francis Music.
And we've also got your website as well.
Yes, sabrinafrancis.com.
And you sell merch.
I do.
The merch looks awesome.
I try to have new merch to sell. So you could check out my merch store on sabrinafrancis.com and, buy to your heart's delight.
Well, would you mind playing a little game with me? I have a list of quick questions that I ask everybody. They're silly questions, and you just got to be as quick as possible.
Yeah,
and they're always.
I mean, I'm not a fast thinker. But
don't worry.
Try.
I can tell you've never listened to my show because they're the same questions I ask everybody. So are you ready? What is your most favourite song of all songs that you will put on no matter what? And if you could play till the day you die, what song would it be?
Oh my God. I have a few songs that I listen to according to what mood I'm in. But right now, and for the past few months, I've been listening to India Irie Sacred Space.
How would you solve problems on Mars?
What?
How would you solve problems on Mars?
What kind of problems?
Anything.
I don't know.
It could be boredom. Throwing stones, drawing in the sand.
I won't go to Mars.
There you go. There's the answer.
Come back home.
You got better.
That's my solution. I'd come back home.
You got better weather in Grenada than you have in Mars. Would you rather have mashed potatoes or baked potatoes?
Mashed potatoes all the time, all the way. I'm a mashed potato.
See, I've got to be honest, it's better than baked potatoes. And you don't have to bake them for 5 hours to get a decent baked potato.
Yes, exactly. And mashed potatoes, I feel, is so simple, so easy to make. I even prefer it to fries. Chips, you say. I even prefer it to fries.
I'm waiting for the next video and the next single called Mashed Potatoes now. We'll get a new dance routine going with the mashed potato.
Yes.
Would you rather cook on a gas stove or an electric stove?
Electric stove. These are questions I've never considered.
They're questions you'll never be asked ever again.
No.
Would you rather wear matching socks or mismatching socks?
Matching socks.
If you can go out without your hair done or your makeup done, which one would you choose?
Without my makeup done.
Yeah, I've got to be the same. I can go out without makeup on.
I mean, makeup takes like an hour. I don't have I mean, right now I'm not even wearing any because it's just a lot.
You can't tell.
Oh, thank you, David. That's so sweet.
I'll be honest. Would you rather use staples or paper clips?
Paper clip.
And if an animal could talk, which animal would be the rudest?
A cat.
What would they sound like?
I got to say an obscenity, but you know what? You just be like, don't touch
me. Leave me alone.
Yes.
I'm going back asleep.
Yes.
Yeah, get it. Totally get it. And in your opinion, the question of all questions, the question everyone in the world wants to know the answer to.
Yeah.
Is cereal a soup?
No, it's not. Cereal is not a soup.
It's got liquid and floaty bits.
A soup takes so much more effort. You can't be classed. Cereal never worked for that privilege to be called a soup.
So it's just cereal, yeah. We'll give you that one.
It's just cereal.
And if you could be in a TV program, Harry Potter or Game of Thrones, which one would you rather be in? And I ask this question every time. Would you last more than 5 minutes? And what would your skill be?
Where? In Game of Thrones?
Yep.
I'd be a sword fighter.
Sword fighting. More than 5 minutes?
No, probably not.
No, if you last more than 2.5 minutes, you are a main character and you should be there from season 1 all the way through to season 2. Well, thank you very much for joining me. They're questions no one's ever going to ask you ever again. And we've got to know you loads, which is amazing. So Sabrina Francis, thank you for joining me this morning. Everyone go out and buy the single, Cocoa Tea. It is out on the 22nd of April. Head over to social media, give her a follow because your video is going to be amazing. I've seen it. It's great. I can't wait for everybody else to see it.
Yes, me too. Thanks so much, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. Well, thank you very much for joining me. And here's Cocoa Tea by Sabrina Francis.